Hello everyone, the name is Larry Jr. and I am here with Mr. Remix. He doesn't want to be called TC, but TC represents his label and collective, the Trigger Collective. I've asked one question regarding Trigger Collective. Were you a big Super Nintendo fan? Because it seems like this name came from both the original Chrono Trigger and the sequel to Chrono Trigger, which is what inspired the mantra of giving back through music.
Guys, LJ just called me in 4K right now. Yes, Trigger Collective is derived from the game series Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. I have a lot of fond memories with both of those games growing up. I spent a lot of time, kind of like exploring the respective regions, and I wanted to kind of give it some new life with my collective, and knowing the plot of the game, being able in the sequel, at least, when we do defeat that boss, the canon way to do it is to spoiler alert, old spoiler, but anyway, canon way to do that is to defeat them through music. You gotta put together this little puzzle of elements, and you'll play a song. Each element represents like a note,
right?
And putting the notes together, that creates the song that helps you defeat the game and puts all the everything back together. And that is, the mission statement of Trigger Collective for us is to give back to the community through music. So those two, together go hand in hand. I wanted to be able to kind of achieve what these guys did in that series, to be able to heal the world through music. One event at a time, one show at a time, one set at a time, whatever it is, however it is, but we're going to be able to do that with music, and that's how we're here.
How was there like a song or like a type of music that like did change your life, or like left a strong impact on you? Because you were saying the mantra is changing the world through music, healing the world through music. Was there a song that you heard that you still listen to that like kind of gives you a bit of healing?
There isn't really a specific song that I would listen to kind of like give me specific healing. I have a lot of like different music from all over, so different music evokes different types of emotions. It really depends on like what kind of mood I'm feeling. If I'm feeling really down, then I'm gonna listen to something like super uplifting to get my head in the game. I'm not really kind of the person to kind of sit and like dwell on things, because things will happen no matter what, good or bad, and at the end of the day, we got to keep it moving, keep on growing. We can't.
You're gonna say keep on keeping on, right?
Keep on keeping on. LJ knows me too well.
Yes. So speaking of Trigger Collective as well, there is also a side project, not only TC Talks, but also Trigger Tactics, which I think we're entering like close to our 70th episode, 70th mix episode, I believe. Yep. How did that come to be? Because it seems like it's made to really highlight artists and people from all across like different areas of the world to like represent yourself in Trigger Collective. You start off with Hearsay, you appear on there twice because you're the CEO, but how did that idea come to be, Trigger Tactics?
Trigger Tactics was essentially a way for the community to showcase their talent, their ability, what they're about, without having the walls that's a venue or an event would put on you. Let's say, if I wanted to put a third Trigger Tactic mix right now, and I want to play a whole bunch of like SLANDER stuff in said mix, that's not something that I would necessarily be able to do tonight for my set. Even if that sound may represent what Remix is, I wouldn't necessarily be able to do that outside of like a set that we post online. So that's why we have that space for artists to be able to do that.
Understood. That's amazing to hear. Now, regarding like you giving the space, because it seems like it's about giving back, making a space for artists to just be themselves no matter what. I feel like for someone like you, when it comes to like some of your shows, you were talking about this a tiny bit, where you kind of have like your peeves with set listing regarding like performing at certain shows when you started making shows, because it seems like the people who were hiring you, who want you to play in these shows, they had this type of path for you to play this type of thing in this type of show. You can't play anything else. I hear these stories a lot with certain artists where it's like they want you to play this because that's what they want to hear. Heck, I even have a few musical friends here and there in other collectives. They'll be like they're gonna pay me like $3,000 just to play some house music. I mean, it's like pretty good. I mean, whatever gets me the bag. If I want to play house, then I will be my inner Tiesto and play some house.
Let's go.
But for someone like you who really is passionate about the music and about the EDM community and about those certain genres, that's not really where you want to be, like, you know, crossing, like, in that kind of thing, right? If you want to explain more about that, then please do.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing that I have against set lists is that it essentially puts me in a box, you know, and now I've created a box that I think, or I would like to think, that said box would apply to the evening. We don't know what's gonna happen until we get to the show. I don't know who's gonna show up tonight. I don't know if Samplifier is gonna show up tonight. I don't know if any of those other DJs are gonna perform tonight. So let's say, God forbid, like, all right, dude, you're on for like 8 hours. What do? You know, you play your whole ass set for like an hour. Like, no, you can't do that. You need to be, in this case, you would need to be prepared to play whatever.
Unlock your inner Skrillex.
Yeah,
since he did a 5 hours, set, and it was variety throughout the whole night. He didn't play one genre every single time. It's almost like an evolution or a journey of like how he built himself to where he is now. So would that be what you would kind of do? You would be like, no, okay, this hour I would do my trap music. In this hour I would do, like, you know, the rhythm. In this hour I would switch to maybe drum and bass. In this hour I would switch to maybe electro, that type of thing.
Yeah, I would essentially play to the crowd, but also play to myself. I think it's really important for us as DJs to focus on finding a good median between the two, finding a good space for, you know, the audience to be able to interact with your set and to be able to enjoy the set, and then also for you as a DJ to be able to push your sound or to share what kind of sound you're trying to be known for, mix the two together. And just kind of go from there. For me personally, I like to do that kind of like open format, kind of like top 40 sound, keep it fun, keep it enjoyable, keep it engaging for like the listeners. But then at the same time, you know, I'm gonna throw a lot of curveballs. I'm gonna throw a lot of like trap stuff. I'm gonna throw a lot of like bass house. It's gonna be a really fun, like, action-packed set. I may be opening from like 10 to 12, but you know, you're gonna see that ramp up in energy, like, right, you know, when we get into it. Once I see enough people like in the building, okay, that's enough of this kind of like warm up kind of sound. You know, now we've warmed up. I've warmed up myself. You know, I still got an hour to go, and you know, I'm not trying to be known only for like tech house stuff, or I'm not trying to be known for like only D&B, or I'm not trying to be only known for like rhythm or whatever it is. You know, the remix brand is to be known for like everything. You know, I'm trying to be well versed in playing different styles of music in a way that makes sense to the audience, in a way that the audience is constantly like, oh my god, like what is Remus gonna play next? Is he gonna play like this kind of drop? Is he gonna do like this kind of drop? Like, is he going to make a sing? Is he gonna make a stance? Whatever it is. So, and it's really like just on the fly. Like I don't know what I'm gonna play until I play it. Like one of my friends asked me, he's like, yo, how do you know like what are you gonna do next? I'm like, I don't. I look at the crowd, I see everybody's jumping and dancing. Okay, whatever I'm doing looks like it's working, more or less. You know, I think it's fair to say that. And if I'm playing a bunch of bass house stuff, everybody's into it, cool, I'll fuck around with some bass house for like a little bit. And if I feel like, all right, I think I've heard enough bass house, let's do some trap, let's do some dubstep, let's do some DMV, let's throw something crazy, let's see how they respond. You guys don't like trap, okay, let's bring it back. You guys like DMB, all right, I'll fuck around, you know, play a little bit more DMB, whatever it happens to be, whatever I'm feeling, and whatever the crowd is feeling too. Because like I said, that's not something that we would like to be able to capture in a set that we would pre-program, or that we'd pre-program, but that's not something that is, in my opinion, that's not something that's really realistic. You know, you don't know what everybody's going through, so everybody's gonna be on different wavelength. And it's our job as the DJ to be able to kind of unify, you know, all of these different perspectives. And we're going back to Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger right here. You know, just like how we did at the end of those games, you know, by finishing that, we unified all the perspectives of everyone so that everyone is on the same page and everybody is having a good time. And that's what, you know, I'm going to do tonight.
Right. And I was gonna mention as well, since you did say, you know, we're kind of, you know, and a bit of that crowd control type of talk, like to the crowd, like, you know, if you don't like this, I'll play this and see what happens next. But again, you also want to try balancing not only that, but also keeping the people guessing, because that's something that you love to do. I'm like, Rick, you're not type of a yes man type of guy. Like, okay, I'll just give them what they want. I hear this. This quote stuck from me from, if you know who Dada Life is.
Yeah.
They said this in one of their interviews, where they said that it's not about giving the people what they want. It's about giving people what they didn't think that they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that I believe wholeheartedly, where it's like, okay, so that means for any opening artist, no matter like who, or any headliner as well, they can throw something at us and they'll be like, we didn't know we needed this. I still remember the last SLANDER show I've been to, they played some like tech house music, and we didn't really expect that. Now, but I was all in for it because I'm an open-minded type of guy when it comes to music and EDM and that type of thing. And I was like, hey, if you want to go tech house SLANDER, do it, because you build a fan base already that have people will be like, no matter what you do or what you make, if you want to like do this or do that or switch your whole like, you know, musical career, then we're all in for it, because you have left a fan base, you left your mark on the industry to do this type of thing. So they're gonna like make sure we keep guessing in your set, right?
Absolutely. It's really important to kind of use these opportunities to engage with the audience and kind of keep on throwing like little pieces of bait for like the audience to kind of like capture. And he's playing like something, like he's playing some Drake, we'll just say, for example, he's playing some of this, he's playing some of that, whatever it is. We're going to keep on throwing these little pieces of bait. I'm going to see, how people react to the bait. I'm going to throw some curveballs and keep on playing more and more music that's custom tailored to the audience based on how they react. If I see that they don't like Drake, I'm not going to play Drake. Simple, whatever. And we're just going to follow what works and play more of what works and play less of what doesn't. So, and that's different for every crowd. I can't go to anywhere else with this same exact set, and I don't intend to. I don't want to be known as that guy where it's like, DJ Premix over here is doing his thing. Yeah, no, like that's not. I don't get down like that.
Right.
Whenever you see me at a set, like, yeah, I'm gonna have my favorites. I'm gonna have my sound that I'm gonna push, and there's nothing wrong with that. My favorite is definitely trap. Bass house is second, and third is dubstep for sure. But even if I do have my favorites, which you will hear, they're not going to be in the same order. It's not going to be in the same context. It's not going to be in the same timing, in the same space. It's going to be different all the time. And I always make sure to like push myself to constantly like switch it up, or to constantly make sure, these guys think that I'm going to do this into this. Nah, I'm doing this one today. The real ones, they'll know, like, oh my God, like he changed it up completely. Yeah, because I want to be able to have that flexibility to do that, and I want to be able to let you know that I'm paying attention, and I hope that you are too, because we're off for a wild ride.
Understood. That's amazing to hear, and thank you so much for keeping the crowd engaged, no matter what show or whatever place you go to, especially with this one happening. Like, I'm not gonna say like it's like your biggest moment in your career so far in your journey, but SLANDER Trifecta Samplifier, that is pretty dang big. I'm not gonna lie. However, I will say that that's not like the only accomplishment you had throughout your journey. You have done certain shows, open for certain people all across mainly DC, but also a few times here and there in NYC, particularly A-Craze. Yes, the do it, to it, bounce with it, drop with it, lean with it, rock with it, snap to it, my fellow slap your backs to it, A-Craze, that type of guy. I'm just curious to know, what show that you already did was your proudest moment where it's like, I'm really doing something great here?
If you can recall. If it's not today, then, and if you're wanting my answer to be a day that's not today, that show, it would have to be, damn dude, it's really hard to pick, because there's just so many milestones in this DJ career, this DJ path that I've gone through, that is, every time I just keep on surprising myself. I keep on ending up with these crazy booking opportunities or these gigs, and it's just mind-blowing to me.
Understood, and sorry for hitting you with kind of a hard question in that regard, but if I had to choose an event that really I believe kind of put you on the map in my eyes, would have to be I mean, I have their merch right here. The Bass Olympics SynchroEvents. Let me put the hat on. That was where I first got introduced to the power of remix, and that to me was like, even though it was like a small collective, it was like, you know, not many people were like really into it. It was the first time ever Bass Olympics, but it was because of that introduced me to so many incredible people out there in the NYC area, or even the NYC and DC area, that told me that, wow, there are people like me who love to sing music as I do, and they're just kind of like me in my musical taste. And I'm like, it made me feel like I was not alone. So in that regard, I was very happy the Bass Olympics existed, and I was able to see people like you and Critical and Villa and Lightweight and
Sweet Spot. He won
and
that
Sweet
too.
Spot as well.
Sweet
He won the
Spot's
first one.
Yep.
And so that was my introduction to you and learning more about you and your journey and what you have been doing so far. And you said that you like were producing and doing this type of thing like for over 10 years. I feel like 2012, 2013, am I correct?
I started DJing 2014, actually.
Right. It was 2012 where it's like you had that enigma moment with Alesso where it's like, I want to do this, I have to do this, I gotta do this, and I will drop everything for it. Quitting your day job, quitting the journey that your parents wanted to be on, and you were like, you know what? No, I want to do this. And 11 years later, 12 years later, look where you are now.
We are still pushing. You know, we are still trying to work really hard to continue to be blessed with opportunities like this. Since you're talking about that Bass Olympics show, that now that you bring it up, that was actually like the show that really kind of like, you know, kind of like opened up my eyes to like where I was really at, because it was a last minute thing for me too. You know, I got reached out to, they already put the lineup together. Hey, we're looking for like extra guys to kind of play in between while we figure out the winners of the competition. Right. So they reached out to me. You're going to be playing for 15 minutes. Okay, I'm playing for 15 minutes. So that was on the schedule. If I recall correctly, it was like 15 or it was a really short like set time. Right. So I'm doing my thing, and then time is up, 15 minutes. I'm like, yo, like, am I still playing? Because I don't see the next act coming up right now. And Playground, I remember
Playground NYC.
Yeah, Daniel, he was there. He told me, I was like, yo, keep going, bro. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah, I got you. I'm like, you know, so I just kept doing my thing, and it looked like the crowd was super into it at the time. I believe that Paul Sweet Spot, he had the recording of that night. So like after that show, I just kind of like watched that recording just to kind of pay attention to the crowd. Like, you know, like you're set, you know what you're playing, and like, okay, cool, like this is what I'm doing. But what's really important is if the crowd is into it. You know, you can be like super technical, you can play like the best sounding trap, dubstep, bass house. If you don't have that delivery on point, if you're not constantly, you know, placing that bait so that the audience can kind of follow you to the next play, right, then what are you doing, you know, in between these cool like sounds that you're trying to showcase? At the end of the day, you know, when we're communicating with words, not with beeps and boops and musical notes or whatever, you know, whatever you want to call it. So we need to be able to bridge that gap.
Well, I wouldn't say just with like, you know, your words. I feel like when you're on that stage, like we're the CDJs,
the energy
with the USB.
as well.
I was gonna say
that was super, like, that's part of it. That's absolutely part of it.
Sorry for interrupting. I was gonna say, isn't that also important as well? Because absolutely, like, how you look on stage, if you're enjoying what you do on stage, I feel like I say this all the time. I believe in this so much, which is that what you deliver to the crowd is what you get back. You deliver positive energy, positive, like, you know, that type of energy. People, you usually will get that back. If you deliver negativity, what you get, you're gonna get that back as well. So it's a back and forth thing. It's like, what do you want to be? What do you want to deliver? If when you're on that stage, I feel like the best thing to do is let people like be yourself, let people like hear who you are as DJ, as an artist, and enjoy it, have fun with it. Because if you're having fun, they're gonna see it as well. And I feel like that goes a long way when you're communicating musically to an audience.
Yeah, for sure. That is something that I strive to make sure to always showcase in my performances as well, making sure to have that energy showing that energy to the crowd to let them know that, you know, you're alive. Nobody wants to see like a stiff DJ and just like
exactly,
you know, you look like you're Frankenstein,
right?
Kind of like vibe. You know, that's not really what the people are here for. They're here for something a little bit more than that, and it's our responsibility to be able to deliver, especially when we get to like these stages. You know, you got hundreds, 200, thousands, 100,000 people coming out to see, you know, you. And you know, when you get that chance to perform, what, you're just gonna like no, don't do that, you know, like
exactly.
No way, absolutely not. I try to always pick music, since we're talking about this, I want to keep that the same train of thought here. I always try to incorporate music that brings out that side of myself and also the crowd as well, to try to be able to bridge that gap, you know, of music that isn't necessarily EDM with music that is EDM, you know, and kind of just keep on connecting those worlds and just build my set that way.
Right. Understood. And that's amazing to hear, and I'm really honored and blessed to hear you say those words when it comes to communicating with your audience. And also, I'm just happy to access as well, back to Trigger Collective. It's been obviously over 4 years since Trigger Collective was first began in 2019, and then it had its 4-year anniversary last year on August 1st, and that was a pretty big day. That was a pretty legendary day because it's 4 years in Collective that you really built from the ground up. I would say, I just need to know, when COVID-19 struck, I know we don't like talking about COVID-19.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about the pandemic. Like you were saying, like in your talking podcast, that yeah, it was a huge slap in the face. It was for everybody at that time, because everything was shut down. We couldn't see each other. We had to mask up. We had to do all these types of precautions because we don't want to we don't want the virus. We don't want to die. That type of thing. However, the EDM industry, the whole world had to be like shut down a bit, and the next step for people to do was like, you know, get on their laptops, get their equipment, and stream. I know that Trigger Collective didn't want to do that, but that was the one way. That was the one way to keep the Trigger Collective name alive. Yeah. However, it birthed in my eyes one of the greatest events in 2021 in Virginia, which kind of like blew me the freak away, because for one, it blew me away to see something like this have such a COVID-19 forward-thinking mindset where it's like, we're going to be safe, we're going to make sure that we make this a really amazing show, we're going to make sure that everything is safe. Heck, you even brought the UVGI as able to kill 99.9% of airborne bacterial viruses. You are not holding back. No one was holding back for this. So I thought to myself, if we were able to, if so many other shows at the time that were locked down were able to deliver the same type of energy, the type of like safety that you guys were delivering at that moment in time, I feel like maybe it wouldn't have died down for so long, and I feel like we would have been back on our feet if we kept the time of work in there. And that to me was like amazing to see, amazing to read, amazing to hear. And I said to myself, to you, Remix, and everyone else who was part of that event, thank you, because that was something I wish I could have been a part of. I could have seen my own 2 eyes, and to really just be a part of it if possible, because that to me was like, oh yeah, if only I was there.
Well, we're always going to do more events. I am planning the next set of events in the DMV area and also in NYC in May this year, so keep an eye out for that.
I could hardly wait. I don't care how much bus fare I have to pay to get to DC and back. I don't care. I just want to make sure I see a Trigger Collective show if possible. But again, if it comes to NYC, do not hesitate to call me and let me know, because I want to see it with my own 2 eyes, because I feel like it's over 4 years, and I feel like Trigger Collective is still like, it's just the beginning. It's been over 4 years, but it's still the beginning. I feel there's so much more you have yet to deliver and give to us, to give back to the world through music. That boss is still not defeated just yet.
No, you're absolutely right.
So
I gotta collect my gear.
Right. But it doesn't mean we still can't cherish the accomplishments and all the stuff that you've done so far. Like I mentioned, the 2021, bringing your COVID-19 equipment and do that there. But also, it seems like one of your biggest ways of giving back that I feel like Trigger Collective is giving back in charity streams. You giving back through food, giving back through money, like, raising these type of causes. And that's amazing to see and witness. And I feel like if we had more collectives that did stuff like that, that would be, I think the world will be a better place, especially in the EDM community. So would there be more, like, just charity streams, like, leaving links down below to, like, give back to people who are less fortunate, type of thing, who could use some help?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do with our next set of events that we have. For our last event that we did in Virginia, we actually worked with the Hawaii Wildlife Fundraiser, and we were able to donate 10% of proceeds towards that campaign. So we try to do whatever we can, try to raise awareness for whatever causes we feel are pertinent at the time, that need a little bit of extra help, a little bit of extra push. When COVID hit, we were kind of focused a little bit more on the COVID side. Makes sense. We wanted to try to be able to give back in ways that made sense. Our first campaign was the Mask Our Heroes campaign, so we try to raise money and awareness for people at the front lines of the pandemic to get them personal protective equipment. And we went over to the hospitals and we directly donated that gear after we raised the funds. So want to continue to be able to be on that path, continue to be giving back to the community through music. I just want to keep it consistent, whether it is working with local talent, working with local organizations, working with any sort of like fundraisers or charities or anything like that. I'm always open and always looking for the next way to give back to the community. Like you said, this boss is not defeated, and I don't really see a conclusion to that besides me continuing to give back where it is needed.
Exactly. And there will be another Bassgiving, will there be?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry, that to me is, I feel like it's like one of like the most annual Trigger Collective things you can do, which is Bassgiving, which is just basically bringing people together through food, through music, through all that stuff. And I feel like that's something I can most definitely get behind. So I'm hoping that 2024 there'll be another Bassgiving that will exist, hopefully in NYC. Yep. And if possible, I'd be more than happy to make some food and do like and give it to you guys potluck style, because hey, when food is to me, food is like the way to the soul. So what better way to represent that and unlock a type of unity through Thanksgiving? It's literally, reversed around, it's literally called giving thanks. So it works hand in hand for Trigger Collective. So hopefully, let me not say hopefully, I feel like from looking at you, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna be set up.
We're working for that. I want to make sure that we get our May events locked down to a T. Make sure to bring good events to the people. There's a lot that goes in behind event creation. I'm sure that you have a general idea of the multiple layers of preparation that it takes for something like this. For myself, there definitely is a standard that I'm trying to uphold for my own personal brand and as well the TC brand. So I'm trying to work by putting together getting a good venue, getting good talent, getting good local talent as well, and choosing the right organization to be able to give back to, and going from there. I'm not sure if you noticed as well, but whenever we take the time to do said events, I like to take the time and do my research on all of the performers who are participating. Make sure to spread a little spotlight onto everybody and kind of like let the public know, like, hey, XYZ act is playing, this is what they do, this is what they bring to the table. And I don't like do it in that way. I kind of like take a little bit more effort and really try to like dive into it so that everybody can get excited about the performance. Whenever like normal promo companies, and I'm not trying to shade any normal promo company in particular, this is just the scene, this is just how it is. Right. Usually the show is placed and the focus is on the headliner, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But the headliner isn't the only person who's going to be contributing to the space of the evening. So it's important for us to be able to shed a little light on what else is going on in the evening and how are these other parts going to contribute to the evening. If somebody is playing whatever set, what kind of set are they going to be playing? How are they going to be able to bring what they have to the table? Why is TC working with this artist right now? Okay, well, this is why. This artist has done this and that and that. And we want to make sure that we share all of their accolades to the public, because people accomplish so much on a regular basis, but it's just not known. A lot of people aren't necessarily doing the research on the local talent or the supporting acts. So that's why I see that there is a lack of that, and that's what we do. We try to eliminate that by providing that information to the community.
Exactly, and tying to that, and how like people support, do your research on like certain events and the local people who's around your area. For you, it seems like it's NYC, DC, and maybe Virginia a bit here and there, since you love Virginia quite a bit. But I'll throw this idea out there. Take it or leave it, since you're the CEO. I feel like not only with Bassgiving coming in 2024, just do exactly what I believe SynchroEvents and Playground Events did with EDM Trade and all that jazz. Just like either let them come to Bassgiving and give their local support, because it seems like there are so many collectors out there that I'm seeing, that I'm learning about every single day, where I've first with SynchroEvents, them making something in 2020 to combat what was not being given to us during the pandemic of COVID-19. They were birthed because of that. Yeah. But then you have people like EDM Train, you have people like Subsound NYC, you have Playground Events, you have you, and so many other clubs out there, like Ratchet Ravers and Subvide Subsidy. There are so many.
Those two are coming up, yeah.
Right. Those are all clubs that I'm thinking at the top of my head that are birthed in NYC or other places. And I think to myself, what if all these collectives came together and said, here's our local town that we discovered. We have him, her, him, and her. And then you bring it all together. And who knows? SynchroEvents did it one time already in their first year. Make a festival out of it. I feel like having an NYC festival with nothing but smaller people, but also rising people, and then a few pretty big headliners who are supporting the cause of what we're giving would be such a spectacular thing to witness. I'm not trying to throw any shade, but Electric Zoo 2023 was kind of a flop.
The shade has been thrown.
Avant-Garde there, I don't know what the hell you was doing, taking that and then totally throwing it to the ground. I'm sorry, but right now, as I hear all the time in the EDM community, there's nothing like that concrete for New York City. I have to literally save my money and go to hijinks just so I can get something, anything.
A well put together event.
Right. Electric Zoo went in 2021. Supernaturals, that was the first festival I ever went to that was a 3-day. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the best 3 days of my life, experiencing so many artists, so many people out there, both small and big, people I'd never heard before. And it was such a beautiful event that I would never trade for the world, but to see it crumble like that with my own two eyes, and to hear, and I was doing one of the artists, hope I can maybe see it, because I want to be a part of it, but then they say that it was shut down, or it needed more time to be rebuilt, so it's shut down day 1, day 2, and then day 3, it was just a God.
A clusterfuck.
Yes, that's one way of putting it. That's one way of putting it. So I feel like for NYC, for this broad community, I say to myself, who's gonna save us? Who's gonna save NYC tonight? Who's gonna bring us back to life? And I feel like people like you and Synchro and Subside and all these people out there, even some people from DC. I'm hearing some collectors from DC as well who are also their local talent. I feel like if we all come together, if we all pull together, and all the CEOs come together, talk about it, make our own little EDM Justice League, and create something out of it, I feel like New York can have a chance. I feel like that's something we can totally use right here, right now, and who knows, you guys are rising up, making your own set, making your own festivals, making your own events. That is going to be, you can be the brand new Electric Zoo that we didn't know that we didn't really want, but something that we need. Absolutely. And that's something that the community needs. And again, I'm just ranting, I'm kind of giving an idea to you, take it or leave it, but I feel like I'm saying it because I yearn for it. I think we all yearn for it.
Yeah, I mean, since we're talking about that, I absolutely do agree with you that the scene does need something like that. Let this be a open call to any of my fellow event organizers in the scene.
I'll make sure I tag and make sure I let everyone know. I don't care. I don't care if I have if I'm using my burner or Instagram accounts. I'm gonna tag every single any clip I can think of and say, watch this clip. Make sure you guys do something. I'm just throwing it out there for you. We need this. I'm just gonna leave it at that because again, I say this because I really am that passionate about the EDM community and all the genres, everything about the community, because what can I do? I said to myself, what am I doing to give back to a genre, a community, a collective, a world like that basically saved my life? I'm not kidding. Without electronic dance music, without these artists I was listening to that are big, rising at the time, and where they are right now, where would I be? I feel like I would either be in such a depressing spot, or I would be sadly dead right now, because it was that type of music that kept me going through middle school, kept me going through high school, kept me going through college, and it was always my go-to area no matter what. And I don't care the genre, I don't care any of that. It was just melodies, it was just music, it was just pure musical feeling, no words, no nothing, it was just vibes. And that's something that I just needed at the time, every single day, and that's what kept me going every single day. So me saying these ideas, me like having these interviews with you and everyone else so far in my like place in my career, my own personal journey and career, it's my way of saying, here I am, thank you so much, and this is what I can deliver to make the community, make the industry a little bit brighter. So I hopefully I'm doing a good job at that, and I just want to support people like you who I know are doing amazing jobs at that and giving something to the community, because we need people like you. We need Trigger Collective. We need people like you to lift us up and give back to us, because if you give back to us, we can give back as well in our own special way, like hopefully what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Thank you, LJ. I appreciate everything that it is that you are doing today, and everything that you have done up until this point. You know, I know that you are you are acting as Trigger Collective in a certain sense, you know, where you go out of your way to take the time to research all of these acts, and you know, you physically go to said artists and you take the time to get to know them on a deeper level, beyond, you know, like the screens, and like beyond like the post of the social media post, beyond all that stuff, and get to know one another as, you know, as humans.
Exactly.
And try to be able to continue developing, you know, each of ourselves, and learn how we can do more for the community.
Exactly. I just feel like if we don't do that type of thing for the community, then what are we making events for? What are we shuffling for?
Yeah.
What are we headbanging for?
Yeah.
What are we breaking the rail for, if not for something more? That's what I believe. Literally, my mantra with doing stuff like this is me bridging the gap between fan and artist, because it's one thing to just be a fan, watch the artist, like, be like, wear their merch type of thing, and be like, yay, I love you so much, woo! It's another thing to hear and see where they came from, see where they began, and how they get to where they are now, and ask them the questions like, how did you get here, that type of thing. Can you maybe tell us more about your story? That is what I like to do, and I want to focus on. Reason why, for someone like me, I always do my research, make sure I learn more about them, hear the podcast, read the interviews, that whatever little shred of information I can find, I'm marking it down, taking pictures of it, and remembering it. I mean, heck, I'm seeing Lil TC remix when he was just a baby, when he said, "This is only the beginning." 2016. Oh, how young you were.
Dude, that was pre-mix. You know, I was a fetus.
But now you are just like, growing to your own man, in your own musical man. But again, TC Remix, thank you so much for your incredible time. I think we already know where Trigger Collective is going to be so far, you focusing on that, but I'll end with this. What's next for Remix himself, just like on his own, and you building your own brand, like you said? You're building the Trigger Collective brand, that's good, but what about you? Not just ignoring Trigger Collective for a while, just focusing on you. Is there going to be a bit more tweaking? I don't know.
Music production, that's all I've been focused on. So I have taken a little bit of a step back from events. I haven't really been posting too much on like socials, either social recently, mostly because I want to get my music to par. You know, you see guys like S.O and Knock 2, RL Grime, Ricky Remedy, the trap OGs, and that's like my standard of excellence that I'm trying to achieve now. You know, I'm trying to push myself to have work similar to these guys, and I need to build my discography. In order for me to continue to give back to the community, I need to be able to build my discography even further than where it is right now, so that I can give more opportunities to the people around me.
Right. Now, although I'll just throw this out there for you, I'll kind of give you a bone here. You do know ISO, EXO, and Knock 2 are coming to NYC this year. Maybe, I don't know, show them a little bit of your mixes, show them that tweak song, tell them what you want to do, because I feel like what's next for you, like regarding just remix, could be you supporting those two legends.
Oh,
I feel like
I see it happening 100%.
If I can see it and you can see it, if you could, like, go to Rear Beat Management, I have their contact, just like email them and tell them this is someone that I would love to see you just put on their poster for NYC, because I feel like that would be such a legendary moment with you, like, trying to give back and, like, try and be up to par with ISO EXO, with Knock 2, with Jewels, with RL Grind, with Ricky Remedy, and all these guys. I feel like that would be the first step in remix, trying to be a part of that large track community. I feel like that will be next. So ISO EXO, Knock 2, Night Mode, Rare Breed, remember the name, remember remix. Get sending those mixes, please, because I feel like we could really use that. I'll make sure I capture some of the footage and send it their way, because if that's what we're going to be getting tonight, I feel like this could be the audition tape for you opening for ISO EXO and Knock 2. I can already see that happening and envisioning it, so the least I can do is do my part in maybe spreading the word.
Thank you, LJ. Really appreciate that a great deal. Definitely, I think that they're going to be really happy with what they hear, especially with this ID that has not been heard in public until today. It's gonna be the last song that I played.
The last song.
The very last song that I played.
Okay, well, Orlos, you're gonna have to wait a bit longer, because I gotta make sure I hear this ID.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
One of my friends, I shared it with him, and the feedback that I received from him was that it sounds like something that Dylan Francis put together. I didn't really have, obviously not to knock Dylan Francis or anything like that. I didn't really have him as like a point of reference, or I didn't really use like any of his tracks as said point of reference. But
right.
That's what he listened. That's what he got. That's what he came back to me with. So after he said that, I'm like, I could kind of see kind of Dylan vibes from listening to this now that you pointed out.
Right, understood. I mean, you did open for his friends. I mean, hello, say my name in nitty gritty. They are good friends of Dylan Francis, so maybe you learn a bit from watching their sets when they were in Music at NYC, so it kind of moved on to there. But again, I feel like that idea, I can't wait to hear, and maybe, who knows, it could surprise ISO EXO, it can surprise Not 2, you never know. Just put it out there and like see what the crowd wants. And again, for that idea, since it's your work, it's what you made, you can kind of screw what they think, because it's your work, it's your music, you're proud of it, you're showcasing it. And at that point, when it's your original music that you really do like, and you put so much time and effort making it into your own thing, then it's screw what they say, play it out.
Right.
Play that remix. Play that remix song.
I think still, when I was producing this track, I still tried to have that sort of mentality. Obviously, like, when you're making a track, you're not really going to predict the energy of like the dance floor at all.
Exactly.
You're not going to be able to do that with that. It's like 2-3 minutes at most, whatever. But what I wanted to do with this track was I wanted to make sure that I had elements that would kind of continue to build that intrigue, that would hook the listener on to, the whole track. If I'm going to make something that's 3 minutes long, then starting from 0 seconds all the way to 3 minutes, like, I have to have something that's going to make you want to listen. It can't, yes, it can be my own track, and yes, I can be like, all right, screw it, I'm playing it because it's mine, but at the same time, I still want to make sure that it is engaging. I don't want to scare people with, hey guys, this is my ID, and then not have it be up to par.
Exactly.
I always make sure that I listen to reference tracks and try to take different bits and pieces and see like where I can fit said sounds into my track. I try to make sure that I get different samples or ingredients and just mess around and place things wherever I feel like. With this one, I was like hitting a wall in my head for like the longest time with this track. I tried for like the longest time. What is my sound design gonna be like? Because that's really where the EDM like sound is. You have to make sure that you have like a cool, fun, like sounding sound that hits your ear holes in a way that doesn't, you know, with other tracks. And to be honest, I was not able to find like that. I tried like with multiple sound design tools. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try this. You know, I'm doing this thing for like, you know, 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 week, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I'm just like, dude, like, when is it gonna end? When am I gonna have a sound that's gonna work at this point? So now I'm just looking through all my samples and stuff. I'm just clicking through everything. What sounds good? I'm just like pulling different, you know, sounds, and eventually I found, you know, this vocal sample. And spoiler alert, this is the name of the song, Got the Flow. So it's Got the Flow. That's the vocal sample that began everything. Once I had that vocal sample and I figured out, oh dude, this is hot, I was able to put everything together within like a week or so, you know, like more, it's not like 100% mix and master, but it's pretty much done in that regard. But that, having that sound, that's what really kind of like helped me finish the rest of it. Once I found that one thing, that one little thing that I was looking for, that
sometimes that one vocal sample can make the difference. That's
the big thing about today's, like, I guess, meta of like EDM. Those vocal samples, those use of vocal samples, that's really what's gonna help your track stand out against the cut. Think about, you know, S.O Noctu, Jewels, those guys, they use a lot of like fun vocal samples to kind of like keep that energy moving, and they mix it in with their sound design or with their like trap sounds and trap drums, whatever. And that's what I wanted to do with this song as well. You know, I wanted to be able to kind of have like a vocal centric kind of sound, since we're on a new wave of like EDM. You know, we're focused more on like the vocal kind of side. We've done like a whole like decade of like the cool like sounds and stuff, and we're still doing it. You know, and I'm not trying to run away from the sound design. I want to develop my sound as well too. But I think this is a great starting point for me to be able to showcase what remix is about. And we're gonna see a lot more development like this in the future.
Right, and hopefully someone like you will be like, you know, one of the forefronts of that movement, because I feel like if that one vocal sample like inspired this idea we're hearing of Got the Flow, who knows what else could be out there. We gotta go back on Splice and see what we got.
Yeah, we gotta be searching, you know, make sure we understand like what kind of sounds we have, and just work from there.
And we will definitely work out from there. And I can hardly wait to hear it tonight. Remix, thank you so much for everything, and thank you so much, Trigger Collective, for all that you've done for the past 4 years so far, going on 5. I can hardly wait for I can't hardly wait for August coming up this year and celebrate the 5 when it's 5 years old. Yeah. I wonder what event will be happening on that day. I wonder. But hey, but don't tell me that. Say that for Trigger Collective and for your team. Set something up. But if it's an event that's 5-year anniversary, don't hesitate to call me, like, no, MC the event and, like, no, host the bit, because I would love to give my energy to Trigger Collective if it comes to NYC. Just keep that in mind. Shameless plug-in, but keep that in mind.
We're about to have MC LJ for TC 5-year, okay?
Yay! Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and we really appreciate you so much for listening to the interview, supporting something like Remix and Trigger Collective, and everyone else as well. NYC, I feel like there is definitely going to be a EDM retribution for us, and like in the whole, I can hardly wait for that day to arrive, and I can be there to witness it with my own 2 eyes. But bottom line, let's just keep working and like building these events so we can build to that grand goal of a local support EDM festival with all the collectives throughout all NYC, all of DC, all of Pennsylvania. It's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful 3-5 days. I can already see it. Watch out, Lost Lands. Bottom line, Assembler Jr. Remix, Trigger Collective signing out. I love you all so much. Peace. I got.